Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
Thank you for listening to Live the Dream Media.
Does your ordinary radio feel a little limited? If you're looking for a new way to listen, it's time for a fresh start. Introducing the Live the Dream Media app, your premier destination and a new level up for digital radio. Over the last 2 years, we've found new ways to ensure your digital radio experience is the best it can possibly be. From live podcasts that spark new perspectives to a 24/7 soundtrack of live music, and even our built-in merch store. We've built a platform that is convenient, high quality, and simple to navigate. But we're only just getting started. Catch all of our shows weekly and join the Live the Dream Media family today and help us change the airwaves forever. Download it for free on the App Store or Play Store today. Live the dream. The dream starts now.
Your favorite radio just got bigger, bolder, and better connected. Live the Dream Media is revolutionizing how you stay tuned in. With our explosive growth in online radio and our brand new mobile app, your entertainment goes wherever you do. Stream your favorite shows, discover new hits, and connect with audiences across the digital landscape, all at your fingertips. Advertisers, don't miss out. Join our expanding digital network and reach engaged listeners across platforms. Download the Live the Dream Media app today and experience radio reimagined.
Hey everybody, it's Chris.
Hey, it's David Samarano.
Hey guys, it's Clint Peak over here.
Hi, I'm Blair Lametti Mathias.
And I'm Summer Smeaton.
Hey, I'm Ron Arenas.
And I'm Will Pena.
Hey guys, I'm Mike Curry.
And I'm Mike Bader.
Hi there, I'm Bruce Ash.
Hi, Ed Wilkinson here.
Hi, this is Bob Elliott.
We are Live the Dream Media. Watch and listen to all of our shows Monday through Friday, only on the Live the Dream Media Network.
Hey, you found us on your feed. Are you wondering what Live the Dream Media does? I'm going to explain it to you. Let's go. First and foremost, Live the Dream Media is a premier digital advertising and marketing agency, but that's not all we do. We have also become one of the largest live streaming podcast platforms in the region with our own online radio station and more on the way. Here's the coolest part. Right now, I'm standing in Studio B, where we are getting ready to put together an awesome state-of-the-art studio to continue the growth of this platform. One of the coolest things about Live the Dream Media is we take pride in being flexible. We enjoy the ability to make changes on the fly. If Live the Dream Media is a company you feel interested in working with and want to enjoy the flexibility and all we have to offer with our new podcasting network and our digital advertising abilities, reach out to us at contact@ltdmedia.net. Visit our website, livethedreammedia.com, or check us out on social media.
Hi, this is Sean McCluskey, co-owner and designated broker for Rincon Ventures. If you're a rental owner by choice or by accident and you're looking to hire or change property management companies, consider Rincon Ventures. We employ an aggressive web-based advertising strategy to market your rental. We thoroughly screen prospective tenants and conduct routine property inspections. Our online system gives tenants the ability to pay rent and file maintenance requests instantly over the web. Our owners can use the same system to instantly check on their properties. Call Rincon Ventures at 881-2258 or visit us on the web at rvprop.com.
The Live the Dream Media Network is proud to host an Arizona legend. His remarkable journey spans college and pro basketball, business excellence, and community leadership at the highest level. Get ready for insightful conversations, expert analysis, and a unique perspective that only one man can deliver. This is the Bob Elliott Show, exclusively on the Live the Dream Media Network.
Welcome to the Bob Elliott Show. This is where we always try to educate and have fun regarding various Tucson, Southern Arizona, state of Arizona, and national events. Again, we are not about politics or religion. We try to emphasize leaders in the community and what they do, why they do it, and how they do it. At the end of the show, I hope that you feel that you know my guest better as a person than what you might have read on TV or seen on TV or newspapers anywhere else. That is who we are. That is what we do. We do it on a weekly basis. My guest today is Lea Marquez Peterson, who's an Arizona Corporation Commissioner. Lea, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Bob. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be asked to participate.
I'm glad to have you here. Now, normally I wouldn't get into what you do, but a lot of people might not know. You're an Arizona Corporation Commissioner. What does that mean?
Right.
What do you do?
I'm glad you asked because you're right. Nobody knows really what the Arizona Corporation Commission does. We're actually an elected body. There are 5 of us. We serve statewide, though I live here in Tucson and work up in the Phoenix area. We regulate private and investor-owned utilities. So what does that mean? That's in electricity and water, gas, wastewater. So down here in southern Arizona, that's TEP, Trico, Sulphur Springs we're regulating, Southwest Gas. We also handle railroad and pipeline safety. We incorporate every business in the state, and we tackle securities fraud. So there's a lot of different issues that's on our plate.
Amazing. Yeah, I know that had to be a question that the guests would want to know. My work before with TEP, I already kind of knew that, but I think it's a good thing to go through. But that's part of what she does as a job. Remember, people make the job does not make the person. So let's go into the person, Lea. So let's roll the DVD back. When you were born, where were you born? Your siblings, memories of elementary school, middle school, high school, college.
Okay, that's way back. But yeah.
We're going way,
okay.
way back.
Sure. So born in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Okay.
My mom is from New Mexico. My dad is from Clifton, Morenci area in southeast Arizona. So born in New Mexico because my dad was in the reserves and was away when I was born. So mom went home to Santa Fe to have me.
Okay.
And so moved to Tucson at like 3 months old once dad came back from the reserves.
Okay.
Grew up here in Tucson. I have one brother, Edmund Marquez, who most people, hopefully people know. He's been very active in the community. But I and Edmund both attended Whitmore Elementary We're kind of East Side kids at the time, but now
Older
that's
or
more
younger?
the Central. I'm the oldest, 4
Okay.
years older than Edmund. And then went on to Townsend Junior High, which no longer exists. Yeah, it's been developed into something else. Then on to Sabino High School, and then on to the University of Arizona.
Okay, amazing. So unlike, this is where if you go on social media or if you go on Google and stuff like that, they did not have that you were born in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They said you were born in Tucson.
Really? Uh-oh.
But
Edit.
now we know, exactly. Now
Yeah.
we know the truth and the why, how it came about.
Right.
So born in Santa Fe, but raised in Tucson. What are some of your memories of being raised in Tucson, even in elementary school?
Gosh, memories. Playing soccer at Fort Lowell Park. I played soccer through most of my younger years, all the way into high school, and I played even as an adult some soccer.
Okay.
Thing people might not know about me. So
What position? Where were
I was
you
always
at?
a defender.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, other memories, high school parties, desert parties. I think anyone who grew up in Tucson remembers having desert parties, wandering around the neighborhood, because back in those days, right, no cell phones, no
Right.
social media and so on. So we would spend times outdoors during the day after school. It's a lot of memories of that. Good memories. Hot summers. Remember that too.
Yes. And we still have hot
We
summers.
still have those, yeah.
Getting hotter summers as the time keeps moving on.
Seems like it.
That would be a whole nother session we could have talking about global warming and everything else. But that doesn't come into the purview of Arizona Corporation
It
Commissioners.
does not, no. We're
That's a
setting
good-
the rates and managing the financial position and so on for the different utilities.
That's a good. What about high school? Any clubs, social clubs?
Yeah, so I was a wrestling cheerleader at Sabino High School. So interesting. My brother used to always make fun of me for that, but but I enjoyed it. I ended up leading that as the captain, and while I was also playing soccer. And then just spent a lot of time. I worked at a Baskin Robbins down at Speedway in Wilmot.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Baskin Robbins. That
Yes.
was for 5 years. I was there throughout high school, and
my
as
goodness.
my little job where I made my extra money was a manager. So I'd hire all my girlfriends, and we'd work there at the Baskin Robbins. And there was Cineworld. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Movie
Yes.
theater and the Chinese restaurant there.
Right.
So I hung out a lot around Speedway in Wilmot, which means I had friends at different high schools because that's kind of near Rincon area and Catalina area.
Okay, Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors.
That's right.
So what's your favorite?
Ooh, Rocky Road. And I used to make the cakes.
Oh.
I haven't done it in, 30 years, but boy, that'd be interesting to see if I could still make an ice cream cake.
So Leah has some other skills that
That's
people might
right.
not know about.
Fall back on someday.
Someday, later on in
That's
life, right?
Next career.
Instead of being like the Walmart greeter, you said, I'll go back to Baskin Robbins
right.
and start making ice cream cakes.
That's right.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. What about college?
College, went on to the University of Arizona. Didn't even apply anywhere else. Knew I wanted to be at the U of A. My family is multi-generation small business owner. So grandparents had many businesses, tortilla factory, turquoise shop, insurance business, Mexican restaurants. So my dad grew up in a lot of different small businesses.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to own a business someday. That was my plan. So my major at the U of A was entrepreneurship. It was one of the special programs through the Eller College, before it was called the Eller College, actually, the business school. And so I did that as well as majoring in marketing. I was very involved in college. I was part of fraternities, which is kind of used to be the town girl kind of organization. So sororities were for girls that were from out of state, and girls from Tucson, Southern Arizona would join fraternities. So I was president of that for a number of years.
And you'd help with the transition for the young ladies?
That, and it was just social. We would have events. We would do educational training. I was also a minority student recruiter as a job while I was in college. So we would focus on reaching out to minority students at all the local high schools that had a certain GPA and recruiting them to the U of A. Really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. So just very involved in college. It's where I met my husband, also in Delta Sigma Pi, which is a business fraternity.
Right. Yes. I think I'm trying to remember. We get so involved in so many organizations, you start forgetting which ones you've been in. But also being an Eller College graduate, before they called it the Eller College,
That's
before Carl and Stevie put their name on it.
Right.
But no, that's interesting. So then you move past college, then you get into your professional business world. And what were some of your moves there? What was your first job out of there?
Well, even before job, I'll say I got married right out of college, which was unusual for kids my age at that time. So my husband and I got married at 22, 23 years of age. I had interviewed for different jobs and took a position with Shell Oil Company. I didn't necessarily want to sell widgets. I wanted to consult. Now, how I thought I was qualified to consult at 22, I don't know, but the job was great. It took us to Los Angeles. My husband got his degree in healthcare administration. So he quit his job in Tucson, came with me to LA because we were going to live the exciting California life, and got a job out in that market. I worked for Shell for about 7 years in wholesale marketing, working with their gas station owners throughout the area. I worked South Central after the riots, which is a whole other show we could do. And it's coming from Tucson, which is diverse and multicultural, not like LA though.
No,
I mean,
no.
so for me to have owners of gas stations I worked with that were Korean and Pakistani and African American and Hispanic and just a whole different crowd of folks that I worked with, it was really interesting. I had a lot of, I think, cultural awareness training during that experience.
I can understand the whole change culturally, coming from the Ann Arbor, Detroit area and coming to college here at the University of Arizona, where, you know, Tucson's high 30% in terms of Latino.
Yeah.
And we had the two families back in Ann Arbor in the neighborhood that were Latino.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. So, you know, you come down here to school and it's like, there's a whole different world out here.
Yeah. I'm sure that's some culture shock.
Yeah. And for you to go over to LA with,
and,
like you said, the whole dimension of the different cultures, et cetera.
Yeah. I also learned a lot about real estate development, construction, marketing, promotions. It's a really good experience. It was also very corporate. I mean, Royal Dutch or Shell Oil, what a different experience from my small business background.
Were you able to utilize, or what could you utilize from your Eller schoolwork into that first job?
I'm a very organized person, and so I think that helped being in school and working through. We wrote a business plan and so on in the entrepreneurship program. Did a lot of public presentations, which was very helpful when I got to corporate life at Shell. I also knew the value of education, so Shell offered a tuition reimbursement program, so I got my MBA while I was in LA at Pepperdine. My husband and I did that together, which was fun. But I think that was helpful also, just to kind of further my understanding of the financial piece to the work I did, working with small business owners, which were the gas station operators.
Yes.
Some were quite large, some just had one location, and really understanding their financial position.
Did you actually have to take your classes on campus at Pepperdine?
I didn't drive down to Malibu. They had different sites, so I was in Tarzana, if you know where that is, in the valley.
Yes.
Yeah. So thankfully, because driving to Malibu would have been a heck of a drive in LA.
It would have been, yes, it would have been tough. I remember back in my broadcast career days, I had some games at Pepperdine. What a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk outside the arena and next stop is Honolulu.
That's right. We certainly like going to the library there and different events, but I didn't have to go there for classes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's beautiful over there. So after that experience, then you moved into what professionally?
Well, then we decided we wanted to have kids and start a family. And the lifestyle in LA was fun. What do they call it? Double income, no kids, dinks or whatever. But I just couldn't imagine how I would raise kids out there, dropping them off at some childcare at 6 a.m., picking them up late at night. So we thought, let's go home to Tucson.
Okay.
So my husband moved back first and found a position that was California-based here in Tucson that wanted to expand. But I couldn't translate my oil company career to Tucson, right? We have different industries here.
Yes.
So I thought, what do I know? I know gas stations. Okay. So we actually bought a piece of land at Grant and Stone.
Okay.
I solicited venture capital, so asking folks for funds and to invest, got an SBA loan and built a gas station at Grant and Stone.
Okay.
So it's an acre. We had a large convenience store, a car wash, a drive-through, and learned from my oil company experience to control the dirt, I always called it. Either I owned it or I leased it, and then I'd contract with that whatever oil company gave me the very best package. So I ultimately, with my husband, grew that to 6 locations around town.
Okay.
So my first career in Tucson was gas station owner, and I was 28, 29, something like that. So unusual to have a young Latina leading a gas station, industry business. I had car washes, I had convenience stores, I had little post office, I had lots of food offerings. It was back in the days of convenience stores when you saw chicken and ice cream and all these pizza places popping up. So it was like running little mini businesses within my gas station. So I really enjoyed it and got very involved in the industry. I served on the National Convenience Store Board. Didn't know there was one, but really enjoyed that experience. So I did that for about the next 7 or 8 years.
Now, Lea, as long as I've known you, that piece about you and the convenience stores and gas station, I never knew that.
Never knew that, huh?
I never knew that.
So it's interesting. Small business owners in town will have known me as the gas station lady for years until I went to the Hispanic Chamber. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, but that's what I like about this show. All of a sudden, you find out different things about our guests, and I'm right there with everybody else watching the show. I'm finding out something new also.
Yeah.
So from that, now you transitioned into the history.
Yeah, there we got out of the gas station business. Margins were tight, gas prices. I mean, we could go on. We could have a whole show on that. But we got robbed a lot too, beer runs, and we got robbed at gunpoint. So we thought, we got to get out of this business. We just weren't enjoying it. We got out and did so by selling some of the stations, getting out of contracts, and so on. And in many of those cases, I used business brokers to help me sell.
Okay.
Very niche. They're real estate licensed and help you with the financial packaging to sell your business kind of anonymously. And after I got out of that business, I thought, well, gosh, I could do that. I have an MBA. I understand retail and service. So I launched a business brokerage firm.
Okay.
So it was called Tucson Biz for Sale. And I did that for about the next 6-7 years. You can see a pattern here, 7 years, right? And I probably helped people buy and sell 50, 60 different businesses and had some agents that worked with me. And we sold everything from wedding dress business, nail salon, bars, restaurants, other gas stations, until 2008, 2009, when the financial market became so tight we couldn't get loans for our buyers. And it just didn't make financial sense for sellers to sell at that time. At that point, I had gotten involved in the community in Tucson. I had been on the board and then the executive director for Greater Tucson Leadership for about 5 years while I was doing the business brokerage firm. And then I'd served on the board of the Tucson Hispanic Chamber. So when my predecessor there had left and I was getting out of the business broker business, my board turned to me and said, well, you've run an organization, GTL. Why don't you take on as president of the Hispanic Chamber? And it was a risky move. You know, we were about 300 to 400 member businesses, but really not very active in the community. And so I did that for about the next 10 years. So a lot of folks...
We got away from the 6 or 7 year deal.
Now
it's 10 years.
A little longer. Well, with a run for Congress during the end of that. So yeah, there was a lot of different things I did in that time. But the Hispanic Chamber was really interesting. So our whole family was engaged in it. My brother would MC. My parents would help with membership. I mean, cousins involved, you name it. It was really the community rallying around the importance of the Hispanic Chamber to our region. We grew from about 300 member businesses to almost 1,800 businesses. We had about 9 employees on staff at its peak. Did a lot of events, and people always ask, I've even spoken to Rotary clubs about it, how do you grow membership, especially Latino-owned businesses and so on. And it really was thinking from a member perspective, why would you pay dues here? What's the value? How can I help you scale or grow your business? Advocacy. There had a lot of challenges with whether it's City of Tucson issues or Pima County Board of Supervisor issues or whatever, Marana or a Valley. So oftentimes I would represent or I would write letters or I would speak up on behalf of their industry to assist the small business owners. And we were predominantly small business. And you're talking 1 to 10 employees was the majority of the size businesses we worked with, under $1 million in revenue. And that's a tough spot to be.
But it is Tucson.
It is Tucson, and a lot of the Latino-owned businesses are kind of underbanked, have a hard time getting loans, start their businesses with personal credit cards, and so on. So really trying to educate and provide them resources that could help them grow.
You know, one of the things that I love about Tucson, if you're driving around, you can see all of the various mom and pop businesses. There's a ton of them. But then they have to learn how to survive. So I can see where with the Tucson Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, you're able to be that link to help them stay solvent, stay productive. And so it's a much needed opportunity to give to people.
It is. And there are a lot of resources out there. After having advocated for so many years at the Hispanic Chamber, building a lot of relationships with key political leaders across the state, our national leaders, and so on. Martha McSally was in the seat here as our congresswoman, had decided to run for Senate. And when I approached her and said, if you run for Senate, I'm going to run for your seat. I'd never run for anything, student council, nothing, you name it. But I thought, I think I can do this. I'm going to bring friends together and get volunteers and help me. So I ran for Congress in 2017, 2018, won the primary, but lost the general election. And that kind of launched, I left the chamber at that point because I thought it'd been quite a while. I think it was 9 years at that point, and decided to kind of leap without a net, I called it. So I just kind of stopped those items and thought I still fully support them to this day, the Hispanic Chamber, but thought, what should I do next? And as I was contemplating consulting and all the different things I could do, Governor Ducey's office called. And they said, I'm a big supporter of Governor Ducey and as treasurer and then later as governor. And he said, somebody's leaving the commission. We can't tell you who yet, but we'd like to appoint you to this spot. And so I did not solicit this. I've had a lot of people ask me, did you grow up to be a commissioner? I'm like, no, this was just kind of landed. And so I did research, talked to family and my husband and thought, this would be really interesting to really deep dive into these different industries and to do what I can to help the industry and ratepayers. So I was appointed in 2019, but understood that to get appointed, you had to run statewide to keep the seat.
Yes.
So I had maybe, 6 months before I had to launch my statewide campaign, which was very interesting.
Yeah. Now, how running for that statewide position compared to the one you had tried earlier?
So running for Congress is you're under a microscope, I guess, best describe it, right? Tons of media attention, people tracking every word you say. You're having to raise millions of dollars. I raised, I think, $1.5 million in my period of time to run, which was a lot at that point. Now the numbers are astronomical, what they're raising. Compare that to the commission. Nobody knows what we do. Right? They knew my name or my face, perhaps, from running before.
Or I was joking with her earlier. They know your name, your face, or the red lipstick.
The red lipstick, right, my trademark. But and we don't run traditional, so we don't raise money by asking for funds. We run clean elections.
Yes.
And that's an interesting tool in our state because we ask for $5 contributions, get it from a couple thousand people, and that qualifies us for state funding. So you get about, when I ran, about 180,000 in a primary and about the same in a general. And that's not a lot to run statewide. That sounds like a lot of money, but when you're trying to cover 15 counties, every corner of this state, every city, town, reach, voters regardless of their political affiliation, it's tough. So I ran basically by driving everywhere, speaking to anyone who would let me come into your church group, community group, Rotary. Challenge is we had a global pandemic that occurred at that time, right? So someday I'm going to write a book, Bob, on how to run statewide in the global pandemic. But I put on a mask. I put on whatever people felt comfortable with. Those guards, remember, people were wearing, and go to their groups if they were gathering, or dial into Zooms all over the state, anywhere I could help get my name and my position and my platform and what I wanted to accomplish. It was tough. That was the year, if anyone followed the commission races, where we had like 9 Republicans running and a bunch of folks got disqualified for not getting enough signatures.
Yes.
So it ended up, strangely, 2 of us running on the Republican side, but there are 3 seats available. So someone had to run as a write-in candidate. It was just a really strange period, and very blessed. I didn't know how that race would go, other than I'd had maybe 6 months ahead of everyone as an incumbent. But was very blessed to win statewide. And then I just ran again in 2024 for re-election and was able to win that in the more traditional sense, still clean elections, but going out around to every group and club and so on that I could speak to, and was blessed to win my second term. But now I'm termed out. We only get 2.
Okay. So how many years are left on that 2014?
About 3 more years.
Okay.
And then I'll have served almost 10 years on the commission. And what's funny, we have
a... past that 7 number.
No, I passed that 7. I know my number is extending. We have a wall in the back of the commission office that shows everyone who's ever served since 1912, because we're constitutional, right?
Yes.
So I went to the wall just this week and thought, who has served 10 years? Am I the longest serving? And no, from like 1968 back, most of those men served 10 years or so. But since 1968, I can say I'll be the longest serving.
Well, now, you said something there. Most of those men served.
Yeah.
So how many women have been in this role?
I think in the 80s, you started seeing women serving on the commission. But up till then, yeah, it's predominantly men.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So if we fast forward past that stage, and when you finish this term, what's next for Lea?
That's the question. I don't know. As you can kind of hear my pattern of my life and career, I'm not so much a planner, like this is what I want to end up doing. I just know my passions, my interests, and whether it's, serving on additional boards or running another business or leading an organization. I don't know. I have really enjoyed the industry, though. I like, and I speak publicly a lot about energy and water and nuclear energy and economic development, so probably something in that space. Who knows?
Well, now for full disclosure to the viewers, Leah's daughter Emma was one of our first interns at the African American Museum of Southern Arizona because she was majoring in museum studies.
Yeah.
And we've stayed very close to her even when she finished her degree at Arizona, went up to Washington, and then now she's back in town. But yeah, there's a connection here.
She loved that experience. She just got her master's in museum studies.
Yes.
And now she's at the Pima Air and Space Museum, but so appreciated that experience.
Yeah, no, we appreciated her. She's good people. It's one of those. Somebody told me a saying about with our children. You can control the input, but you cannot control the output.
That's so true.
But it's nice when you see the output match up with the input.
That's right. You hope, you pray, that they'll do well. But she and my son Luke, who's 19, Emma's 26, have done very well. So I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, I remember she used to bring Luke by.
Yeah.
And then we have one area in the museum that we talk about families, and know your history, et cetera. And there's a picture of all of you in there. Yes.
Thank you for that.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. So at this point, the future, you're not too sure after you finish this, which is interesting. Things that you think you might want to do. Are there any passions that you had before? And I remember my dad telling me, there's passion and there's profession. Passion fills your heart. Profession pays your bills.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So what would be something that maybe you can mix your passions with a profession?
So I think if you look to that point when I'd left the Hispanic Chamber, had lost that race for Congress and was kind of like, no, what should I end up focusing on? I am particularly interested in making sure there's a Southern Arizona or rural voice in the Phoenix area. I serve on a lot of boards now and in a lot of rooms where I'm the only one from Southern Arizona sitting there.
Yes.
And anyone in Tucson kind of gets that if you've done the same. So I think that's particularly interesting. I don't know if you define that as public affairs or whatever it may be, but I have a passion for that.
It's amazing that you bring that up because the thing that, we love our community. It's about 1 million people here. But the reality of the situation is there's about 5 million people in the city of Phoenix alone. And the Phoenix metropolitan area has 6 suburbs of 1 million each. So picture 6 Tucsons all around this $5 million Phoenix. So there's a lot more people up there, which I believe leads to the fact that why they do not look at us as comparable.
There's some pretty stark differences. When I speak about the role of the commission, I always describe Phoenix. Phoenix is on fire. They have Taiwan semiconductor industry. They have all these different industries coming into the Phoenix area, and you see a lot of investment in roads and investment in their infrastructure. And we don't have that same economic development down here. We've had a number of big projects that were not voted or moved forward. And we have a very controversial RTA bill, which I won't talk politics here, but we have controversy around that here. But I think having run statewide and talked in all these various counties, the biggest divide I see is rural versus urban.
Yes.
And whether it's resources or it's also having the time, if you live in Morenci or Kingman or wherever you are in the state, spending that time at the capital, Clifton, and making sure you're influencing the state legislators or having a voice. It's important that people write a letter, Zoom in, have input into elected leaders who are making decisions that impact their lives and their communities.
Well, that's a good word for people to think about, which is to get involved, say things, write things, talk to the people that make the decisions, And I think that's a good one that you've left everybody with. So, Lea, thank you very much. Hopefully now people know Lea Marquez Peterson as Lea Marquez Peterson, or just say Lea, versus who you see on TV or the news or newspapers, etc. But it's been great to have you on.
Well, thank you, Bob. I really appreciate it.
It's been fun. It's been fun. Well, next week we'll be here again at 9 a.m., and the guest will be Tanya Strozier. She's the visionary founder and CEO of Ubuntu Stream Academy for Girls. It's an innovative school serving grades 5 through 8. Everybody stay safe, be well.